Hello, this is recording number 3 of the Traverse system, and this time we're going to look at the reports and the audit trails. So, for example, I can, pick any item, and I have some certain selection criteria. If I choose a certain type of asset, then I also have the custom fields that normally are associated with that item that I could also select upon. And the reports will come out in, an Excel report or an Excel sheet. And the difference between those two is a report would have all the report headers, whereas an Excel sheet would just be the columns. You could have it in HTML format, PDF, or Word, and the default is PDF. If I don't put any assets in at all, and just click Detail, I'm going to get a normal asset report that tells me all about all the assets. I probably have my pop-up blocker set. Yes, I do. But I'll allow it. Okay, make a liar out of me. Don't you love that? There it is. So you see, I don't have many assets in the system. This was just for demo purposes. But there are 2 pans, and you can see that's what the report looks like, and it is a PDF. Okay, so that's a very simple report, and that's not terribly exciting. Transaction reports, I can go find out everything that's happened to all of my pans. Right, so I changed the put away location, I checked it in, for this particular asset, and then for this asset, I moved it. So, very simple transaction reports. This is pretty standard stuff. Any asset tracking system is going to give you that. But here is where we're different. Before I show you this report, these are the audit reports, let's do something. Let's go and pick an asset, any asset. How about this suction tube? Okay, so that's asset ID 29. I'm going to copy that. And let's change it. I don't have any departments. I'm just going to put a 1, 2, 3 on this custom field, just to say I changed the record. Okay. Now, if we go back to reports and go to the audit reports, and today is, what is today? 21st. So it's going to find all the changes that have occurred today. And you can see here, I did a check out, I did a check in. But here's the real here's the update. So you see, it was autoclave steam, and I changed it to autoclave steam 1, 2, 3. So every single thing in our system, in Traverse, is audited. Every record change that occurs, whether it's a check-in, a check-out, a regular transaction, or any data type at all that you change. I mean, I could go in to locations, and I could find this operating room, and I could change that, right? And then I can go back to reports, audit reports, and I'll say for this table, right, I'm going to go to my locations table. And for today, tell me what's occurred. And there it is. There's the change I just made. So every data item in the system, doesn't matter where, we log that audit. And then you can report upon it. So in that sense, this system is fully audited. You want to find out who changed anything at all, you can find out. Now, of course, that would cause a lot of data to be stored, and that is why we have these items. If we go back here, so you see I've got an archive interval and a purge interval. So we're going to archive all data that's 6 months old. We're going to move it to the historical tables. And then after 4 years, we're going to delete it. Also, and I don't have commas here, so let's see, it's 500,000. So if I reach 500,000 rows in my live data, regardless of what the time interval is, I'll move it to the history. And once I have more than 500,000 rows in my history tables, I'll then go ahead and delete them. So this way we can keep our tables small, but you can change these, of course. Now, if you're using SQL Express, maybe these sizes are appropriate. If you're using, SQL Server Standard Edition or Enterprise Edition, then maybe you want to expand these numbers. That's fine. It's really up to, how important this data is to be retained. Traverse is a tactical system. You might feed some other back-end system with this data, and then once it's fed, you don't need to store it anymore. But, this is one of the most powerful things that we built into Traverse, and I'm quite certain most of our competitors don't have, that you can find any change that occurred and you find out who did that change to any table. And especially in a hospital setting, this might be of particular importance. We also built in a physical inventory system so that you can do your initial count. And we're not going to demonstrate that right here. We'll demonstrate that in a separate video. But you can go into any setting and count all of your items and then take that count and bring it in as your true starting asset collection. We also have an interface where you can import data, and we can import data via XML or CSV, and we can also export data. So you can export data as XML, comma separated, or quoted, comma separated, or coded, comma separated for Excel. So any data that you've got in our system, you can take it out table by table. And if you've got your data stored in some table someplace, you can then bring it into our system table by table. So we're very flexible in that regard. And this is just the asset tracking portion. We also let you do inventory. And, we could associate customers or vendors with any of your assets. And we'll go into other detail on how we store inventory in other videos. So that's it for now. I want to keep the videos short enough so that they don't bore anybody. And stay tuned. We're going to put all these up on YouTube as soon as we can.